Jill McCartney with the Northwest Oklahoma City Chamber, and we're here today with Spencer Hicks, a candidate for Oklahoma County Commissioner. Spencer, please introduce yourself.
My name is Spencer Hicks. I'm running for County Commissioner for Oklahoma County in District 2. I'm running because I want our county government to be transparent. I want our elected officials to be held accountable for their actions, and I want responsibility with our tax dollars.
And tell us a little bit about you.
I grew up in Shawnee, Oklahoma, graduated from Shawnee High School, got my undergrad from OBU, got a master's from Oklahoma City University, spent 6 years working in Governor Henry's office, 2 of those years doing constituent relations work, and then for his second term I was his body man, personal assistant. So I would travel with him to all meetings outside of the Capitol. After his second term, he started a consulting firm. So we do business development for the Chickasaws. We do work for nonprofits, just kind of whatever life throws at us. We try to tackle with new ideas.
Very good. Well, what caused you to want to run for county commission?
Yeah, well, I'd always had the desire to run ever since I spent time in Governor Henry's office. And my wife, who was a public school teacher, really kind of inspired me, as well as Commissioner Bloomert, in just coming to the realization that if there are problems or government isn't doing what you think it should, then you should do something to fix it. So I figured I would throw my hat in the ring, see what comes of it.
So in terms of fixing it, what does that mean in your world? What when you look at things, what would you be trying to fix?
Our county jail is a huge issue, and it has been since pretty much the day it was built. It was built in '91 using a 1-cent sales tax. We raised, I think it was a little over $50 million to build the facility. After that, we've never had a funding mechanism for it. So year after year, it has just been dilapidated. It's not safe for the citizens who are being held there. It's not safe for the now the trust employees. Also, the roads in eastern Oklahoma County are falling apart, and they were not in great position to begin with. But then when the Kickapoo Turnpike came in, they've caused a whole lot of damage. I think the last thing I read was $14 million worth of damage, and the Turnpike Authority I think has offered the county like $8 million. So that kind of upsets me, because working in state government, the Turnpike Authority is always flush with cash because they can go get a bond without a vote of the people. They get the money from the Turnpike, they get state monies. So I just think if you break it, you bought it. They should do a little more to help.
This is really a sprawling district. Kind of tell us the geographic outlines of it and what some of the issues in different parts of that community are and for this district.
Yes. So when I'm describing the district, I tell people it just makes a U around Oklahoma County. So it goes up to on the west side of the district. It starts at Wilshire. It's War Acres, Bethany, everything below I-40. And then Hara, Choctaw, Newalla up to Memorial on the east side of the county. It's a huge sprawling, geographically it's big and sprawling, and I understand the reasoning why they did that, because they wanted the smaller municipalities to be under one commissioner. So a town like Hara or Choctaw, if they needed road improvements or whatever, they wouldn't have to be going through 2 different commissioners. So it looks very gerrymandered, but the reasoning behind the district is good. And the issues you see span pretty much the entire area. As far as like small municipalities, um, county commissioners, we can help with schools if they have like a paving project, like if they need their parking lot resurfaced or redone, commissioners can help with that. There have been some schools in District 2 who have not gotten the help they need, and so they've reached out to Commissioner Bloomert's district to have her repave the parking lots. But I mean, I think my main priority is transparency in government. If you look at Tulsa County, they I don't like to say Tulsa is better than Oklahoma County, but it is. Tulsa County is being run so much better than Oklahoma County. You can go to their website right now. They're part of the OpenGov program, so you can look at every budget. They've got graphs. You can see where your tax dollars are going. You get on the Oklahoma County website. You have to download a 300-page PDF and scroll through that if you want to know about our budget.
So, well, is the county commissioners, are they in charge of the website?
That would be the county clerk, but we're part of the budget board who gets the funding to do all that stuff. I want more transparency, is why I'm running.
So if you're elected, what are some of the things that you will champion? And I've heard you voice some disagreements with Commissioner Calvi. And so are there, on the flip side of that, are there projects that you could see working together with him on?
I would be happy to work with him on anything if it's for the good of all the people. Right now, I think my biggest issues are the things he's doing with the trust. The district attorney's office said the trust should be an arm's length away from the county government. And right now there's not that separation. We've got Calvi is the only commissioner who's on the board. The sheriff is on the board. And it's my understanding that like you or I, if we were wanting to protect our assets, you could put them in a trust. That would shield you from liability. Like if you got sued, they couldn't come after you. You know, like your properties and assets, just whatever's in that trust could be sued. So during the creation, at the 11th hour, right before the state legislature adjourned, he had him run a bill that puts the liability for any lawsuits back on the county. So not sure what it's supposed to do, because it's not acting as a shield for the taxpayers. It's not its own entity running the jail. It's still very much Kevin Calvi saying this is how it's going to be and ramming stuff through.
So is your issue more with Calvi than with Mon? Or
well, what's the difference?
but that's not the district that you live in. But when I heard you talk, I've heard more disagreements or problems with Calvi than necessarily with Mon. So
well, that's because Mon doesn't put up any. He doesn't offer any solutions to anything, or at least he hasn't. He's been in office for 12 years. Really hadn't done anything to help the jail. Asked the people in Eastern Oklahoma County if they've ever had roads that they think they deserve, and they'll tell you no. Like, he champions his little pet projects, which are, in my opinion, a redundancy of government. The county already has a community service program that people can be sentenced to. He started a SHINE program, which is the exact same thing, except he gets to control where that community service is worked.
Now, with your background, I know that I think one of the things that you've done has been a writer with the Lost Oval. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah, I did that.
So they are certainly irreverent.
Hmm.
Is that kind of view of the world something that you would bring into working with the local government?
I don't know about in irreverence, but um, I would certainly want to look at everything with a different outlook than the way it's been done for the past 30 years. I just, the things county government is doing right now, like it makes me wonder what's the point, like, uh,
So, are
what,
there any
like,
new initiatives that you feel like you would want to champion, or people that you feel like you need to represent and be a voice for? Who are they? What are those issues?
yeah, I mean, I think before we decide what we want to do with the jail, I think the first thing we need to do is reduce the population of the jail. It was built to hold 1,200 people. It has been well over that for years. Uh, every time an inmate is housed there, we spend on average about $50 a day. Um, if it's at 1,500 people, we're spending 75 grand a day for people who are, according to the Constitution, innocent until proven guilty because they haven't had their day in court. Um, so I mean, I think, and the Maps Four initiative has been great, and once all like the diversion hubs, because they're Oklahoma locks up more people per capita than most countries. Uh, our people, I wouldn't say are worse. We just have worse sentencing. We have uh, worse outcomes. Um, so I mean, the first step is getting people out of the jail. Um, if they're dealing with a mental health issue or a substance abuse issue, or it's a nonviolent crime. Let's get those people the help they need. If you're in there for a violent crime, listen, I'm fine. Yeah, let's keep you out of society. If you're a threat to others, you should absolutely not be out on the streets. Um, but we should quit wasting our money um, keeping someone in jail who probably just needs help.
Do we have adequate resources and facilities and places to provide that many people help? And who are the people that will determine which side of that line you're on?
Yeah, well, I mean I, we do we do have a lot of resources for people who need help. With the Maps 4, that's going to grow. Uh, what was the question? Sorry, what were some of the points?
So who is it that decides, besides if there's adequate resources and facilities for those folks, who is it that decides which people need the help and which people need to stay in and which people just get released? Who
Right.
makes those decisions, and how do
Yeah, I
we
mean
organize that?
yeah, that is going to, I think, require work on everybody's part, whether it's federal, state, uh, or municipal. Like all of those things play a role um, in the overpopulation. Other counties during the beginning of the pandemic really focused on cite and release. If someone was being charged with a nonviolent crime, they would just write them the ticket, just like a speeding ticket. Here's your day in court. You're free to go. Uh, and that was being done because of the pandemic. But it has had an amazing success at being a savings for taxpayer dollars. Like it's a better way to run a society than you know we've Oklahoma County, like I mentioned about the trust, every time we lose a lawsuit, our property taxes go up because we have an unfunded mandate. So over a period of 3 years, let's say a $50 million lawsuit is paid out. We all pay whatever percent over that 3 years. So that's a tax increase without voter approval. Better ways, smarter ways to spend our tax dollars and have better outcomes, less recidivism than just putting someone in jail for like public intoxication. This is probably 2 years ago, we lost a $15 million lawsuit because a gentleman who was arrested for public intox was left chained to a wall for 2 days and he passed away. I think there's some leeway for like officer discretion about who they take in. Because listen, if you go to an OU game or an OSU game any Saturday, you could pretty much throw a stone and arrest someone for public intoxication. But there's some biases that come with officer discretion.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your time today and appreciate your, stepping out there to make a difference.